What's good, YouTube land form here, back again once again. Today we are here for episode 63, I believe, of our Let's Play of Horizon Forbidden West. The last episode we tried to do our little arena arc, but we fell short at just before the finish line because we got slapped up. But that's okay. Sometimes you must lose in order to stand tall. I don't need the snapper bolts. It's not important right now. It's not important right now, game. In this episode, we return to the base, and we're gonna go drop off Ether and see what Gaia says. Still looking for Val. Beta's locked herself off, so we have no clue what she's going through right now. But I guess she'll pop up when we need her. As usual, if you like what you see here today, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell to get notified for more content coming your way.
Aloy, I'm glad you have returned, and I see you have recovered Ether.
Let's do this first.
Aloy, can you come downstairs? Beta has something you need to hear.
Okay, that was quick.
I'll be right down.
Aloy, I have managed to unlock additional rooms within the facility.
Got it. Hey, Gaia. I'm back.
So I see what is on your mind.
Plenty of things. Where do you want to start?
So this facility, the Regional Control Center, it was meant to oversee the terraforming system?
For the local region, yes. Had humans received their education from the Apollo database,
I don't know if you've gone
they
over
would
this
have then
already.
been guided here to assume as that never happened.
Until Minerva decided to settle here. So I guess this room was meant to keep an eye on condition.
Yes.
This we
From
haven't
here,
heard before.
The facility's operators would have been able to observe weather and machine activity in real time.
That's what the
It may
Cyclops
be
was for.
possible to restore more of this room's functionality, should you find and reconnect additional camera feeds.
I'll keep a lookout.
Oh yeah, that's for the Cyclops
The
drones.
processor Ether was installed on was part of an ancient war museum. A memorial to something called the Hot Zone Crisis. Do you know anything about it?
My knowledge of historical events was unfortunately lost with the Apollo database. However, climate data indicates a peak in regional temperatures in the 2030s. Such conditions would see extreme, prolonged droughts, an increase in dust storms, and a loss of habitable landmass.
But they wouldn't have built a museum in the middle of a wasteland. So I guess things got better eventually.
Yes. Data suggests that temperatures return to average levels in the clawback era of the 2040s.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
There was an ancient tank embedded in the bulwark, buried under a bunch of boulders. Any idea how it got there?
During the Pharaoh Plague, the U.S. military resumed the use of human combatants, as automated machinery was unreliable. It is possible the vehicle was part of a pre-automated war fleet.
So they fought against the Pharaoh machines in the valley. Until the mountain was blasted apart and buried them.
Buried them. Yeah, cool. No, I thought the same thing.
When we were at the facility where we found Beta, there were records that said Far Zenith were researching embryogenesis. I know they traded their ectogenic chambers to Zero Dawn, but why were they researching it in the first place?
At this point, we can only speculate. Perhaps at one time they meant the Odyssey to be a colony ship, necessitating such technology. As their goals evolved over time, so did their areas of research.
So they got more selfish as the risks of staying on Earth kept rising. So, Project Zero Dawn. The greatest minds in the all working to build the terraforming system while the... What was it like?
Oh,
Personnel
we need to
worked
hear
in
this.
rotations at all hours of the day. Resources and technology were secured from across the world. Within a month of the project's conception, I was launched and began my education. Elizabeth encouraged me to spend time with the rest of the Zero Dawn staff. She said it was important to experience many personalities and perspectives to aid in my emotional development.
What were they like?
Scared, hopeful, determined. They were hurtling toward technological achievements on a scale never before attempted. I owe everything to their dedication.
We'll come back and talk about Elizabeth another time.
How's Catalo doing?
I have detected that the loss of his arm still deeply pains him. In an effort to remedy this, I have discussed a potential solution with him. I believe he will want to fill you in on the details.
A solution? I'll check in with him when I can, then. So there's a few people here now, and they're learning. All about you, the ancient world. Almost like what was supposed to happen before Apollo was purged.
That could be a sticking point, but they
While the
the
loss
Zenith
of the
have
Apollo database was
part
catastrophic,
of Apollo.
there is still much that can be gleaned from the data you have uncovered. For instance, Varl has been reviewing the last recorded entries from those who perished during the Pharaoh Plague. Hearing their hopes and fears made him quite somber.
Of course it would.
Anything I should be worried about?
I do not believe so. I have elected not to intervene, to allow him to process this on his own terms.
I mean, we've been looking for the black boxes, and it's been pretty much the same thing.
I'll be off.
Farewell, for now.
So if I remember correctly, we have 2 more Cyclops drones to find. I say 2 more. I've been out looking for them, to be honest. So I have 2 more. I think it's 2 more to go.
Drone's reconnected now.
Shearside Mountain. The Grey Peaks. Yeah, so we've still got 2 left. Okay, let's see what Beta's got. So she must have locked herself down there with Varl after he came back with Katola.
Is your focus acting up again?
That's fine.
I can take a look if you want.
Nah, usually works if I just flick it a few times with my thumb.
I would not advise doing that with an advanced piece of technology connected to your cerebrum. Errand.
Hi! Happy birthday, Isaac. Daddy sure does love his little big man.
She found that recording from the data on your focus. She's been watching it a lot. I think it helps calm her.
That's a blast from the past.
You know, I used to watch this a lot too. Whenever I wanted to take my mind off things.
Daddy sure does love his little big...
But there's something you need to tell me?
While you were gone, I came down here to check on her. Then we started talking. Right, Beta? She's been thinking about how to capture Hephaestus, studying the data Gaia gave her. But we started talking about some other stuff. You know, just getting to know each other, right? And then she told me that one of the Zeniths might be different from the others.
Tilda. You saw her at the Hades Proving Lab.
Go on.
On the way to Earth, the Zeniths never showed their faces. My servitor caretaker referred to them as my benefactors, and promised I'd meet them someday, when I had learned enough. And then, one day, a data channel opened in my training interface. In it, Tilda was waiting for me, in a virtual replica of a house on a cliff, overlooking the ocean. It was beautiful. She showed me paintings, books, media files. We met there in secret many times. But a few months later, it stopped.
Can you tell us why, Beta?
I found some data about Tilda at the Hades Proving Lab. I think she was the liaison between Far Zenith and Zero Dawn. She knew Elizabeth Sobek, that's for sure.
Maybe that's why she reached out to you?
Maybe.
You said Tilda showed you paintings and let you access media files? Every time we met, she showed me a new painting. I think she was Dutch. All of her favorite pieces were from their golden age in the 1600s. Portraits, allegories, ships at sea.
They changed the word there.
That didn't interest you? I liked her media portal. It had so much more than my training interface. Clips, shows, holos. My favorite was this one called Second Time Around, about a family whose kid comes back after disappearing during the Hot Zone crisis. Right, but did this portal have anything about the Zeniths themselves? Anything we could use? No. Any information about them was redacted.
The house.
So
I
this
think I've seen it.
secret virtual space looked like a house with an ocean view? I could see whitecaps and hear waves crashing on rocks below. And there were gulls crying outside. Inside, Tilda had frames that showed off her favorite paintings, changing at intervals to match the light. There was an armchair she liked. She'd sit there and gaze outside while I looked through her things. We spent hours in that house. I never wanted to leave. You said that Tilda reached out to you using a data channel? It appeared in my training interface as another assignment. When I opened it, there were a series of intermittent glitches. I realized they formed a transpositional cipher. Instructions on how to open up a new virtual space. When I entered it, my training interface disappeared. Instead of the usual holographic teachers and files, I was in a perfect recreation of her home. And you're sure the other Zeniths never knew about it? To them, it looked like I was still in training. Toiling away. Alone.
Well, why would she do it? She's not giving me very much to go on. Don't understand her motivations.
What else can you tell us about Tilda?
But the small facial animations are nice.
Like to talk about her paintings.
Okay.
What about herself?
So-
Did she ever talk about her life on Earth, how she joined the Zeniths, something like that? She never said much about herself, and she hated it when I asked too many questions. But I think, back on Earth, she was an expert programmer, given that she built a data channel the other Zeniths couldn't detect. Is there
Okay.
anything else about her that we might be able to use to our advantage? She was the first real person who ever bothered to speak to me. I wasn't really assessing her for strengths and weaknesses. So Tilda set up a secret virtual space where she could talk to you, a house on a cliff. Then later, she cut you off. But other than the fact that Tilda knew Elizabeth, you don't know why she did those things? I don't! Okay? I thought of
Then why
every
tell
possible
me?
reason that would make her leave, but whatever I did wrong, I don't know what it is.
Why tell me
Finally
this
met the
then?
others, she ignored me. Acted like the data channel never existed. None of this even matters. Tilda's the same as the others. It won't help us defeat them. Okay. Let's leave it at that then.
That was a waste of time. Oh god, that was
What's wrong?
gross.
I'm trying, Varl. But she is tough to take. I'm out there in the wilds, risking my life every day, and all she can do is hide in there and tell us how hopeless it all is. I'm sorry, she's had a rough time, but she is really not helping right now.
You always seem to be on top of everything, so I sometimes forget about what you've been through. I mean, it wasn't that long ago you were so banged up you couldn't even walk. About that. When I pulled you out of the water back near the proving lab, you were muttering Rost's name. You never talk about him. But he raised you, trained you. You must miss him a lot.
Of course I do. But I don't have time to think about that now. I need to get back out there.
Okay. I'll keep working with Beta. Gaia says she knows a lot about Zero Dawn. And maybe she just needs some time to adjust, and then she can help us with Hephaestus.
Sure. But I won't hold my breath.
It needs to be like that. Let's go check in with Katalo one more time.
Looks like the old ones used their focuses to send.
Hey,
Does
everything
Earth
all
have
right?
anything
Yeah,
else?
everything's fine, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay. We're gonna...
It seems like you're getting a hang of this data.
Yeah, it's been helpful. When I could make sense of it. I did find the old ones enjoyed a good brew like the rest of us. Only they let machines serve the stuff in bars. They even let the damn things cut you off before you saw the underside of a table. And that's half the fun. You won't see me letting a robot serve me a pitcher anytime soon.
I see someone's been playing Strike.
I'm just trying to get some practice in. Helps take my mind off things.
You should try playing Katalo. It's a Tanakh game. Maybe you'll learn something.
Sure, Tanakh. Sure you won't try and kill me if I win?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure at all.
Do I smell ale?
I brought some over from Chain Scrape. With everything that's been going on, I thought we could all use a drink. Besides, there is nothing that brings people together like a good brew. That's what my sister always said, anyways. And you're more than welcome to have some.
Maybe another time.
I do like these interactions.
Back to
Let's check in with Varl, because I mean to do
Isaac.
that.
Of course.
You brought up Rost before. I do think about him. You know, he was all I had. And he brought me up the best he could. Not only that, when Hades discovered who I was and sent the Eclipse after me, he sacrificed himself so I could survive. But that seems like ages ago. So much has happened since. What I'm doing now, I don't think he could even begin to understand it.
He would have no clue.
The sacred lands were all he really knew. So I can't let myself dwell on him. Not with everything I have to do.
I understand. Sometimes when I think about my sister, about what she would have become if she had survived the proving, it
Oh,
hurts.
okay, that does hurt.
And I just need to bury it for a while. But only for a while, Aloy. You can't ignore it forever. Memories always come back. The ones that matter, anyway.
I know. But for now, the mission has to come first.
Fair enough.
A moment of silence for Varl's sister, bro. When Aloy got to Mother's Heart and got to the cabin where all the young people were gonna go take the proving, Varl's sister was the only one that spoke to Aloy. And she was the only one that actually did anything during the proving to support Aloy. And there was a healthy rivalry. Bro, Varl's mum must be pissed.
It's hard to believe we're dealing with the original Zeniths. The same ones that left for Sirius 1,000 years ago.
To live
That is a
on
bit
for
weird.
so long, it doesn't seem natural.
Because it's not.
That weapon we found where Beta was hiding. Any chance we can use that against them?
Silence made sure that wasn't an option.
Why would he build something to hurt Far Zenith, yet allow them to capture you?
With Silence, there's always an angle. We just don't know what it is yet.
We'll figure it out.
What do you make of this Tilda the Beta was talking about?
Well, the way she described it, I can't shake off the feeling that Tilda wanted something from Beta. Maybe because she's Elizabeth Sobek's clone? But whatever she wanted, I don't think she got it. If we knew what it was, maybe we could use it to our advantage somehow.
I don't know. I don't think Tilda and Elizabeth were on the best of terms.
Oh well. At least we can take some comfort in knowing the Zeniths don't trust each other.
Maybe.
That actually might be a good thing. Discourse is always a good thing
How's
when
training?
Discovering
taking
something
down an
new
enemy
about our
army.
past every day. When we first met, you asked me if I ever wondered what this world looked like when the old ones lived here. I thought it was strange at the time, but a lot has changed since I left the Embrace. Now I'm just trying to make sense of everything I thought I knew and versus everything I know now.
The change is hard, but it gets easier over time. You feeling okay?
I was just thinking about Beta and all that time spent with the Zeniths. To think someone would make a person just to lock them in a room to use when needed, like some sort of tool. Elizabeth Sobek sacrificed herself for the world, and yet they have no trouble treating Beta like a slave.
Another reason we have to stop them. Did Catalo find his way here?
Zoe picked out a room for him. He's kept to himself for the most part.
He's not much of a talker.
So I've noticed. Tried paying my respects for those who fell when we were ambushed at the embassy. Told him I'd never seen anyone throw themselves at a machine like he did. He said a warrior shouldn't be praised for fulfilling their duty. For a second, I thought I was talking to my mother. Never thought a Tanakh and a Nora war chief could have so much in common.
I like that.
I should
I
get
like
back out
that.
there.
We'll be here if you need us.
I like that. Sona is a tough woman. Don't get me wrong, she's a tough woman, especially to raise kids like Varl and his sister. But like, she is Tanakh, like straight up.
Aloy,
Hey, how's everything going?
I am well, but Varl told me Beta's having a hard time adjusting to life here with us. I wish there was something I could do to help.
I'm not sure any of us can.
A tree won't bear fruit in a day. We'll do our best to make her feel welcome.
Thank you.
What are you going to learn next?
I'm not sure. I asked Gaia for suggestions, and she brought up data you found on something called a museum? From what I gather, the old ones would store knowledge in them for all to see and learn from, like you've done here for us. Maybe one day more people will be able to use this place to learn the way we have.
That sounds crowded, but nice. The Zeniths did a number on Beta. But she seems to trust Varl.
I still can't believe she told him the Zeniths are immortals. Old ones who cut themselves off from the cycle of life and decay. I've never heard of anything so selfish. To deny our dying bodies to the earth. To doom the life that would bloom in their place. It's despicable.
That's a nice way of putting it, in terms of like the angle. The Ataru have their land gods. It's hard to define whether they're religious, because they understand that the land gods are machines that are part of Zoe understands now that they're part of the terraforming system, but the Ataru themselves conceptualize the land gods as machines, and the suffix god isn't used as like a divine being as such, more just as a reverence for the machines and their purpose in the system. But Zoe speaks with a kind of religious tilt, in that sense where the Atari's understanding of life and death permeates every aspect of their life and culture. Did any of that make any sense? I feel like it didn't, but
Is there anything I can help with around here?
I had to voice what was on my mind.
Oh, no. We're doing fine.
Are you okay?
You and Varl have been friends for a while.
I like to think so.
I was wondering, what do you know about his mother?
Oh,
Not bad, huh?
why do you want to know?
He's spoken of his sister, Vala, but I noticed he avoids talking about his mother.
She's the war chief of the Nora. Best warrior the tribe's ever known. Tougher than a Thunderjaw, but she could be pretty harsh at times.
I see. That must have been hard on him. Thank you for telling me. I feel silly not being able to ask Varl directly.
I wouldn't worry about it. He's probably afraid Sona will scare you off someday.
I'd like to see her try.
Ooh, say it again,
I should get
homegirl.
going.
Good luck on your search.
Okay, let's finish with Katalo. I know we've been standing here talking for a long time, but hearing what these guys have to say as the story develops paints a better picture of the world and their
You look
context
like you want
within
to
it.
say something.
I always want to say something to you, Katalo. So let's talk
What
about
did
Chief
Akara
Akara.
say when you told him he'd be joining me here?
You spilt rebel blood at the Grove and helped reunite the clans. There was little more to be said. He understood.
Thanks, man.
I'm honored he lent me his best martial. At least for a little while.
Indeed.
That was a weird angle. Why did they do that small pan back? Oh, God.
When we were at the Bulwark, the guard said something about the wings of the Ten. Hikaru also mentioned it at the Cool Route.
Deca
Deca,
too.
too. What does it mean?
The visions tell us that the Ten flew on great metal machines with wings and leapt into battle from the sky. For us, to imitate this feat is the ultimate expression of martial prowess, and it is why the challengers leap into the arena during the Cool Route.
Oh, that's
Many
cool.
times I imagined it as a child. The feeling of freedom and the awe it must have inspired.
No, that's actually a lot of contextual information just in that of itself. That's cool. That's actually cool.
You said the Bulwark was your home a long time ago. That you were part of the Sky Clan.
Yes.
That's all you're gonna tell me?
Fine. As you wish. My parents were killed in a clan skirmish, so I was raised by my squad. As I grew older, I came to be known as an accomplished fighter. Tekote took a special interest in me. I fought by his side against the Karja, and led my squad on a dangerous climb into the Daunt. It was I who opened the gates at Barren Light, from the east side, allowing the Tenakth to raise it.
That must have gotten you some attention.
Indeed. I was welcomed home as a hero, and I was content.
And why'd you leave?
I became a marshal.
Why did you leave the Sky Clan to become a marshal?
I was sent to the Kulrut by Tekote. Back then, I would have obeyed his every order. I believed in him, like one would a father. I was too blind to see the fear in his eyes. Fear of a rising young warrior challenging his command of the clan. I returned a hero from the battle at Barren Light. But to him, I was only a threat. Never occurred to
Okay.
him that I had no interest in rising above my station.
Why did Tekote think you wouldn't be a threat to him if he sent you to the Cool Route?
Tekote knew that if I survived the Kulrut, I'd be forced to forsake the clan to serve the Tenakth as a whole. I'd never be allowed to challenge his command, even if I wanted to. After our victory at Barren Light, Tekote spoke to our people, said it would be selfish to rob Hikaru and the marshals of a warrior like myself, even though he knew perfectly well I had no intention of ever leaving. It was exile.
Guides his
Geist,
honor.
as
Wow.
one he knew I couldn't refuse.
Yo.
So I became a marshal, and never looked back.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I am not. Though it pained me at the time, a marshal is what I was destined to be.
Rise to the occasion. But the Kote is a schemer, bruv. No, but what he's right. He's right. And in the years that followed, Katalo realized what he was doing. Nah, props to you.
Have you spoken with Erend at all?
I've had little chance to. I did see him bring some ale from out east.
That stuff's as bitter as salve-brush.
You get used to it, eventually. In fact, I wouldn't mind a drink myself.
I'm sure Erend wouldn't mind sharing. What do you think of this place? It must take some getting used to.
It's an efficient center of operations, and an acceptable training facility. Though it could use some more color.
Duly noted. I should get going.
If I can help in some way, say the word.
I will.
No problem.
Thank you.
Well, that's out of the way. We have oh, we got 6. Okay, so we have to go after Demeter. What side quests do we have? Thornmarsh. Wait for her to bring the reboot code online, and then the arena, and then the last few collectibles. We've narrowed things down pretty much. But we have some things to go do. I want to get the shell bolts eventually. I'll do that in my own time. But we have oh, head over here actually. Let me quickly restock and sort my life out, because that needs to be done. Oops, wrong room. Wrong room.
Ow! That is focus thing's trying to kill me.
Those two are funny.
Huh. The door's unlocked now. There's a lot of equipment in here. Gaia, what was all this for?
This room was designed for management of the facility's vast seed banks. From here, control center operatives would have monitored new crop rotations into the automated farmlands, now known as Plainsong.
I
Oh,
see.
that's interesting to know. So the Plainsong specifically was going to be used for
I've been tackling the design of the Ag Lab. Place is gonna have a lot of seed stock to work with. My favorite? Sample 626. Calotropis gigantea. The crown flower. We used to have one in our backyard. Butterflies always fluttering around. Every morning, August would run out there to check under the leaves. See if any caterpillars turned into chrysalises. Now, I'd like to imagine that the future will be filled with them.
oh, that's actually really interesting.
This must be from the cool route. Between the Rockbreaker and the Slitherfang, Regala really wrecked the arena. And I have a feeling she won't stop trying until Hikaru's dead.
What the heck? What?
Be a rainforest so big the old ones called it the lungs of the planet?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's on top of my door. Didn't notice that. Back to this, because I was momentarily stunned by the fact that this was a thing.
According to this console, there are still thousands of plant samples stored deep below the facility. I could ask Gaia about them the next time I talk to her.
Whoa, wait, whoa. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Random thought. Despite, sorry, to go with what Gaia just said, it makes sense why there's plow horns in the Plainsong. and why the plain song is such a verdant area, so close to the facility, because that's where the seed stocks are meant to go as part of the upkeep for the facility. That's so smart, bro. I'm gonna go ask Gary about it now. I want to know more. That's actually bonkers. Yo, Miss
Welcome
G.
back.
Hey, Gaia. It's me.
Hello, Aloy.
I found some data in one of the rooms you unlocked. It mentioned that there are still functional seed banks beneath this facility. Why is it there?
My predecessor was tasked with reconstituting the biosphere with primary and secondary plant species. Had everything gone according to plan, humans would have eventually been able to introduce tertiary species, including new crops.
Can we access them now?
Unfortunately, it will have to wait. I require control over the machines in order to access and distribute the preserved seed stock.
And for that we need Hephaestus. It's something to look into later.
Every time I think we're making headway in figuring stuff out, the Hephaestus becomes the problem.
So I talked to Beta. Didn't learn much.
It seems to me you did. From what she describes, the Zeniths controlled every aspect of her life, even as they shunned her. This Tilda was the first person she ever had contact with. An abrupt severance of such a relationship would be very emotionally damaging.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So you're telling me Beta suffered from emotional damage?
See you later, Gaia.
Until next.
Okay, cool. We have to get out of here. I'm missing a data point. I'll figure out where that is out later. So, quest log. So we have to wait for that, and then we've got. So it's the Scorcher, the Shell Snapper, and I need to go after a Fire Claw, but I don't want to go fight that. So I just want to show you a quick map update. I've traveled further west, and I'm hitting where San Francisco is, San Francisco Bay, which is like on this side. Can't go down here yet for story reasons, and this is the Grey Peaks here. So we are going to travel up here for our next endeavor, because from here we're going to head south and see if we can pick up Demeter on the way. So if you guys liked what you saw here today, please make sure you hit that like button. Oh, there's a shell snapper right there. I need them bolts, my dude. And then we're going to go into this cauldron too. So if you like what you saw here today, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already, ring that bell to get notified of more content coming your way. And I've been your boy Lion, the Ultimate Form, and I will catch you cats later.